welcome back to JMC Garage Talk. In the JMC Garage with the 2025 Ford Explorer. And in this video, we go over our first issue. Yes, that's right. As you can tell by the title, we had our first issue with the Explorer. Now, what I wanted to do in this video is kind of go over the issue, what happened during this issue, and what is your result now that the issue's been resolved. I didn't want to get a video of it in the middle of the issue because I think that would have been right, just would not be right by Ford and by my family who is in the midst of going through all this. So let me kind of break it down as to what happened with the Explorer, what the dealership found out, and how it got fixed, because the turnaround time was actually pretty quick. So last Friday, before the recording of the last JMC Garage Talk video last Friday, my wife's birthday, we hop in, it was 5 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go to the gym, drop her off at work. I was going to go head into Spokane. Anyway, hop into the vehicles. I've been sitting in the JMC garage all night, so the engine, everything is dead cold. I started up, and immediately I have check engine light, wrench light, everything flashed on the dash, and then also I had a warning of engine overheat. Even though the engine was dead cold, sitting in the garage dead at night, the engine was actually giving you an overheat warning. And at the same time, because the engine was giving an overheat warning, it was in limp mode, which I never had a vehicle go in limp mode before, so I don't know how the engine runs in limp mode. This thing, in order to protect itself in limp mode, the engine actually doesn't run on all the 4 cylinders. It actually cuts back so much fuel that it's barely running on 3 cylinders. You can tell as you try and rev it, as you try and go out, and it's exactly what I try and do. But anyway, getting ahead of myself. So I immediately shut it off. I'm like, well, that was odd. Maybe it was just a fluke. Put my foot on the brake, hit the button, and started back up again. It did everything the same thing again. Running the same, saying engine overheat warning, wrench light, check engine light, in limp mode, yet again still. Well, I shut it off again. I told my wife, hey, look, we're going to have to take my son's Buick to the gym. I'm so sorry. It's on your birthday. Go to the gym. Go drop her off at work. I come back here because I have a little bit of time. And I told, who I was going to show up in Spokane for. Like, I'm sorry, I can't make it this morning. I had an issue with the Explorer. I have to get it taken care of. So they understood, and everything was able to go without me, at least for that Friday morning. So I get in, I'm like, you know what? Let me just disconnect the battery for, 5 minutes or so. So I did that, disconnected the negative side of the battery, plugged it back in, started it back up, and guess what? Same exact thing. It didn't go away. Check engine light, wrench light, and the engine overheat warning light. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and drive this thing to the dealer. Again, I never had a vehicle in limp mode, had no idea what it was going to be like. I'm like, I know it's kind of running rough, but the dealer's only, 12 miles away. It shouldn't be too bad. Well, that was actually a no-go. I try and pull out. I try and drive. The thing doesn't want to go no faster than 15 miles an hour. It's spitting and sputtering. It's acting like it's starving for fuel. I mean, it's not running rich. It's actually, the miss is actually starving for fuel. It's trying to save itself because it thinks it's overheating. So I was like, oh, this is not good. So I pull back into the JMC garage. I get on my phone with a Ford Pass app. I call for a tow. Contacted my local dealer here in Coeur d'Alene, which is about 12 miles away. Contacted them. I was like, hey, you guys have a loaner? I'm in a desperate spot. This is crazy. This was on a Friday. They actually had a loaner. So I was able to grab the loaner, able to have this towed to the dealer. Once it was dropped off at the dealer, they say, hey, look, here goes the loaner. I'm sorry, we probably won't be able to look at it until next week. I'm like, I understand. It's Friday. I get it. You guys are all busy and booked up. Go ahead and look at it next week. You guys give me a loaner. Hence, you've seen the Broncos Sport videos. Anyway, so I get a call Tuesday morning while I am in Spokane at the location I usually go to in Spokane. And I get a call Tuesday morning from my service advisor. And just want to shout out to Mike White Ford for a quick response, for a quick turnaround time. So service advisor said, hey, look, your Explorer's all done and ready to go. Come pick it up whenever you can. I'm like, man, that was, if you consider working days, it was dropped off Friday. You had it Monday. And then on Tuesday, early morning, we're talking about like 7:35 in the morning, They opened up at 7. He called me up and said, it's ready to go. I'm like, this is crazy. So he kind of gave me a rundown. I'm going to give you the rundown on what the dealership found and what the issue was and how they fixed it. So again, Mike White, Ford of Coeur d'Alene, quick shout out to them. They did an amazing job. Got me turned around real quick, got my family back on the road in the Explorer, and I was thankful that they had the Bronco Sport, which was brand new when I took delivery of it for the loaner. Appreciate them and all their hard work. I actually contacted Ford Corporate to kind of get some traction in this as well, and obviously that worked as well. I'm not saying because I have a YouTube channel with quite a few subscribers, but it may have had a little bit of a pull. So anyway, here's what they found out. So they brought it in, they confirmed my concern, which was the first thing. Sometimes you bring a vehicle into the dealer, like, oh yeah, I had check engine light. Well, they take it in, it's like, well, check engine light's on now, and there's no codes in the system. Oh no, this had a code. One code caused all of this mess. Just one. So we're going to go through it right now. So he confirmed that the check engine light was on, pulled codes, found previously but not detected currently active code in the system for P2C38. P2C38, and then it said -92-68. Cylinder head temperature sensor, performance or incorrect operation, intermediate. So what the Explorer, in fact, bear with me, I'm going to pop the hood and show you where this cylinder head temperature sensor is. And we'll go on with the rest of what they found. Oops, forgot to pull the thing twice. There we go. All right, I will turn my nifty light on, and I will get my flashlight, and I'll show you where this cylinder head temperature sensor is in this vehicle. It's actually very easy to get to. If you want to zoom in, if you can see that right there, that wire, it's blue and green wire wrapped around kind of like a plastic shroud there right above the turbo. That is the cylinder head temperature sensor on this new 2.3 EcoBoost, 2.3 MPC EcoBoost. Anyway, so that was a sensor that was causing all the issues, and that sensor communicates that there is an overtemp and it's unable to respond to the rest of the system because that sensor corresponds with the engine coolant sensor, which is kind of tucked away in the back there. Anyway, it is going to throw the code that it did, and it's going to cause the engine to go into limp mode. So they checked for the TSBs, they cleared the codes, tested functions while monitoring the PIDs, good performance pinpoint test, which directed to the systems to see if there was a loose connection. They checked for that, all of which are good. Performed the system symptom chart test for wiring and voltage, all in the system, all good. Good grounds, good signal, return values read normal, so they had the engine running, and the return values for that sensor read normal, that it wasn't in an overheat condition. All checkpoint system and operating normally at this time. They did perform a PCM software update. So this whole issue was because it needed a PCM software update for the engine ECU, which is located right here on this engine. That's it. That's what took care of the issue. That's why when they cleared the code, after they cleared the code, they ran it a couple times. They actually went up to about 25 miles outside of town, went up to the pass, came down off the pass, code did not come back, ran totally fine. They checked it all with the scan tool. It didn't come back. All because it needed a PCM software update. The engine ECU needed a software update. So my whole issue was not hardware. What is even sensors? I mean, yes, one sensor was reading misinformation, but it's because the PCM didn't know how to handle it. So it needed an update. Anyway, so from what I can tell, this issue shouldn't happen again. The PCM update took care of this issue. And the reason why I'm making this jmcGarage Help video, because maybe you have a 2025 Explorer and you're experiencing something similar. In fact, I've seen in the Facebook of the 2025 Explorer forums, well, not really a forum, but on the Facebook page for 2025 Explorer owners, some people have experienced the wrench light come on periodically in their Explorer, or the check engine light and or check engine light. And maybe it's related to this PCM update that your Explorer needs, especially for running the 2.3 MPC EcoBoost. So for all those 2025 owners out there of Explorers, especially running this 2.3 4-cylinder, maybe see your dealer and get the PCM updated so you don't have to be left calling for a tow truck because it won't get out of limp mode. Anyway, so that is what it is. That's what the update is. Once I got it back, they pulled it up for me and everything ran fine. I've been running it now for about a week. Again, I picked it up on Wednesday, actually a little bit less than a week. But I've been running it and it's been running good. Still getting amazing fuel economy. And I'm actually going to take it to Montana tomorrow. So anyway, that is the update on the Explorer. Yes, it did have an issue, our first issue, but it was resolved quickly. And it was resolved in a manner that I'm pretty satisfied with. And I'm happy to report that they didn't have to touch anything with the engine. The engine, there's nothing wrong with that. That whole misfire situation was because it was in limp mode. It was trying to save itself. It's only going to run on 3 cylinders to cut back on fuel a whole heck of a lot. This way not to cause a more prone overheat condition than what it sensed that it already had. So I can understand. But again, nothing wrong with the engine. Totally runs fine. I checked the oil. Hey, on this engine, you can actually check oil. Unlike the Chrysler 3-liter Hurricane, I checked the oil and I didn't smell any fuel into the oil, so it wasn't running rich. It was actually running extremely lean. It was actually cutting back fuel instead of adding or dumping fuel. So anyway, oil is still good. Don't have to worry about changing it for fueling the oil. There's no fuel dilution or anything like that. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about that, and I'll let you know of any other issues that may come up. Again, if you have a 2025 Explorer, especially with the 2.3, you might want to ask your dealer about a PCM update. It's a software update that needs to happen on the PCM. Do it for preventive maintenance, because you don't want to run into a situation where, you got to go somewhere, you got to be at places. This is your only vehicle. Like for me, pretty much outside of my son's car, this is my only vehicle. I got to go places, and if your dealer doesn't have a loaner, then you're SOL. But you want to make sure that you are taken care of. So get it done, get it checked in, get it updated, so they can get you back on the road. Awesome. You guys be blessed. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Again, I upload videos every single Saturday afternoon and every single Wednesday morning right here. Awesome. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next one.